Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today's block is called Straw Flowers. This is a straw flower block. It's made with half square triangles and cat's cradle units. So it makes a pinwheel in the center. It actually makes two pinwheels in the center, and this is a 12-inch block. So this one, you have to take a little extra care to put it together because you're going to be working with this cat's cradle unit and some bias edges, but it really doesn't take too long to make. So I hope you stay with me and I'll show you how to make the straw flowers block. Here are the fabrics you'll need to make the straw flower block. For A, you will need two 5-inch squares, and then you'll cut them on the diagonal to give you 4 triangles. B is 4 3-inch squares. You cut those on the diagonal to give you 8 triangles. C is 6 3-inch squares. D is 4 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles. E is 6 3-inch squares, and you want to draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of those. And F is 4 2.5-inch squares. So I'm going to adjust the camera and we'll get started making the straw flower block. Okay, first thing we're going to do is to make half square triangles. So we're going to need the C squares and the E squares. And we're going to make a total of 12. So we're going to put those right sides together. And the E squares already have a line drawn on the back. Now I also have a piece of glow line tape where I can follow that, but sometimes this is easier just to follow that line. And I'm going to line that up with the right side of my presser foot, and we're going to sew on both sides of that diagonal line. And then just swing it around and sew on the other side. Okay, and I'm going to cut on the drawn line, and that'll give me 2 half square triangles. And you can use your rotary cutter, of course, to cut those. And here we go. Here's one of the half square triangles, and here's the other. So I'm going to go ahead and chain piece the rest of these together by sewing down one side of each piece and then flipping it around and then doing the other side. Okay, so I have all of these half square triangles. Now I need to trim these down so that they measure 2.5 inches square. So that'll be just a little sliver taken off each end. Okay, so we have 12 half square triangles and we need to make 4 sets of 3. So I'm going to show you how we need to do that, how we need to lay them out. And I have a set right here, and we're just going to sew them just like this, so in a row, and we need to make 4 of these sets. So I want to sew 2 together. and then add the third. Okay, so we have this, so I need to make 3 more. Okay, so here we have 4 sets of 3 triangles. So we need the B triangles and the F squares. So I'm going to start with an F square here, 1 F square, and then 2 B triangles. And I want to tip the camera down so you can see better what we're doing here. So what we need is an F square and then 2 B triangles, and we're going to sew these so that we make a larger triangle. So we're going to put 1 triangle one side and 1 adjacent to it like this, and that will get the triangle that we need. So I'm going to sew down this edge here. Okay, let me press this open. Okay, so we have this, and then I'm going to lay this down so I can make sure that I'm getting it the right direction, and then I'm going to sew the other triangle on. So this one will go like that, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off this dog ear because of the presser foot I have. It has a guide on it, and little dog ears that stick out get in the way. So once again, it's going to go like this. And I'll press this triangle out. Okay, and here is the triangle. So I'm going to trim off this little dog ear, and then I'm going to make the others, and then we'll need to trim these down just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and finish these. We need to make 4 in total. Okay, now to finish off these pinwheel units, we need to add the A triangles to these. just going to sew those right sides together. Now the A triangles are going to be a bit large, but that's okay. That can be trimmed down later. The most important thing is centering this triangle with this point here made by the square. So I'm going to put those right sides together and line that up. And then I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go ahead and pin right there. And then I'm going to sew. And you can sew from either side. And you can see here it's a little bit large. There's some blue fabric showing out there, but we can trim that down. The square is a little bit large, and that's fine. It was more important to get the right seam allowance for this point here. And just be careful because both of these edges are biased. So you don't want to tug on them. Okay, so here, yep, I got a good point there. It's not cut off. Now I'm going to press this blue triangle back. Okay, so we have that unit now. And after I get finished doing the rest of these, I'll go back and then I will trim anything I need. Now this needs to be 4.5 inches square. This side should be correct. This cat's cradle unit, these are called cat's cradle units. And this triangle is going to be a little bit large. So this is where I'm going to trim, will be on this triangle here. So I'm going to do the same with all the other pieces. Okay, so now I have all of these squares trimmed down, and what I need to do is to sew a D rectangle to each one. And that is going to go right here. So we're going to put those, there we go. I'm going to put this on this side. So I'm laying all my pieces out so that I don't get them confused. And I'm just going to sew this rectangle on. This is what we have at this point. So now we need to start adding the triangles. And so I'm going to turn this way, and then the set of 3 triangles are going to go on the top like that. Okay, when you make your set of 3 triangles, if you press towards the yellow, this will nest against this seam here if you're pressing this rectangle out, which I did here. So I went ahead and repressed my triangle so that my seams will nest. And of course you can press your seams open if you want to also. And that's the only seam you have to match up. I'm going to go ahead and pin at the end, and we'll sew this on. right, I'm going to press this open. Okay, so here we have 1/4 of the block. So we need to make 4 of these, and then we will sew these together to complete the block. Okay, I have all 4 units done, so all I need to do now is lay them out to sew them together. And since this is a 4-patch block, there's 4 units, and they're going to go like this. So we're making the big pinwheel in the center, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to sew those 2 together, these 2 together, and then sew those 2 rows together. And I have pressed this row of triangles here, this row here, I pressed them down, so this will nest in with this because this one is pressed up, that seam is. So we're going to, everything should fit together well without any problems. So I'm going to go ahead, adjust the camera, and finish sewing this block together. Okay, we have this seam here to nest, and these 2 seams will nest here, these diagonal seams. So I'm going to nest those in to each other and pin, and we should be good to go. Okay, here is the completed block. That turned out really well. Don't have any other additional tips other than what I gave you as we were working on the block, but I think it turns out really well. I think it's a pretty block. Just 2 colors, lots of half square triangles, and then these cat's cradle units. So this is a 12-inch block, and it takes a little time to put together just because you've got points to match in certain areas, but they're not too difficult. So anyway, I hope you will give this block a try. Okay, that is it for the straw flowers block. So it turned out really well. Has a couple little different techniques in it, but it makes a really nice block, and you know, use whatever colors you want for this one. So anyway, I hope you'll give this one a try. And if you like this video, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.